and not press record.
Are you going to record or what? Oh, wait,
Yeah.
you already are.
That's right.
Oh, man. How embarrassing for
Gotcha
me.
again.
Man, you got me
After
so
all
good.
these years.
Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Stop.
That's how we did the audio test, and I just wanted to give you guys a little taste, a peek behind the curtain, if you will, of how the podcast, of how the sausage gets made. You know what I mean? Hey, this is the Brothers Game Podcast with me, Nicolai.
And me, Brian. Hello.
Hello.
What?
You gotta leave that in. That dead silence. I would take a drink of tea, and I just assumed Brian would start talking.
Isn't it way funnier that I didn't?
Yeah, sure, that worked out. So what's up?
Oh, you know, stuff and things. We
Playing
bought
games?
Switch 2s.
We did get Switch 2s. I did mention on the podcast last time that I pre-ordered one at our local GameStop in person. And I did end up getting it there.
Yep.
But you got it first.
Yes.
You got a Switch
So I
2
didn't pre-order it,
before I
and yet
did.
I still got it before you did.
You suck.
Because here's the I had the day off. The day
You had quite a few days off.
Yeah.
You had some weird stuff
some
going on.
planned and some not planned.
Yeah, for sure.
So I learned that I was going to have the day that the Switch 2 launched off.
Yes.
So I was planning on kind of like making a circuit of the different stores and just seeing like
Target,
who
Best
had
Buy, whatever.
stock and realistically who had the shortest lines.
Right.
And so I'm looking at which stores are going to start when. Like, some stores were going to have a midnight release. I wasn't going to stay up until midnight. I didn't care that much.
Yeah.
I was perfectly willing to just go early in the morning. But I looked at Walmart, and it said they were starting midnight Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the West Coast, so we're in Pacific time, which means midnight on East Coast is 9 p.m. here.
Yeah.
And it was about
Not late at all.
9:15 when I learned this information.
Yeah. You're like,
So,
hey, worth a shot,
I was
right?
like, all right, I'm going to just drive to Walmart. Now,
Which is not close, by the way.
it's like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
The nearest actual like super center. We have a
Full-size
few neighborhood
Walmart.
markets,
Yeah.
but they don't have electronics
They're just grocery
departments.
stores. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I had high hopes because this is not a heavily populated area. It's growing, but it's not heavily populated, and it's not an affluent area. So there's not going to be a ton of people there to buy
true.
Switch 2s. But so I pull up, and I thought maybe there might even be a line out the door, and there wasn't.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if that was a good or a
Right.
bad thing.
Does that mean they're gone or just nobody cared? Yeah.
Yeah, or that they're not, or that the store isn't participating, or
Right,
something
exactly.
like that. Like, I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah. So I walk in. I walk to the electronics department, and there's no one there.
Yeah.
Not only there's no staff and there's no customers.
So surely they've sold out or they just don't have them.
Yeah.
You would assume.
Right. So I go over to the Nintendo section, and there aren't any in the case.
Sure.
So then
Which is
I
understandable.
walk back to the like central part of the electronics
Yeah.
section. There's two people breaking down those like dividers they set up for lines.
Yeah.
And
Because they didn't need them, I guess.
well, no. So apparently, like 30 minutes before, right at 9, there had been
was
a
a
line,
line,
and they had
okay.
sold some.
Okay.
And apparently, they had just put what was left in back. And so,
That leftovers.
Yeah.
Crazy.
so I walk up, and the guy immediately knows what I want.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you want one?"
Hey, you want one?
And I'm just like, "Yeah." He's like, "Which one, with or without the Mario Kart?" I said, "With."
With Mario
He
Kart?
goes in back, he pulls
Just
one out.
Grabs one.
I buy it and I walk out of the store and
You're like, what?
I'm like,
just happened?
is this okay?
Yeah, I feel like I just stole this,
I
even though I
know.
paid $500 for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a Switch 2
Just fantastic.
3 hours before launch day.
Yeah. And 3 days before I did. So, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So I had my thing at GameStop. I did not pay it off completely because it is $500.
Right.
And I am a small business owner who owns a house and has a child. So, money's whatever.
Not exactly drowning
Not
in
drowning
cash.
in cash all the time. But I'm going to get a Switch 2. No one will stop me. And so between some things and some stuff, the last day they were going to hold it for me was Saturday, which was 2 days after the official launch day, but 3 days after the midnight release or whatever, which wasn't really midnight for us, of course. And I was apparently like one of the last, ones in the back that they had. But I was able to pay it off on that Saturday. Went in. They gave me a free Red Bull. That was cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was part of GameStop's promotional thing. They're like, choose a Red Bull that you would like. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And it's funny because I saw a really cool thing on Twitter that if you had pre-ordered it from Walmart and had it like delivered to you from Walmart, they delivered it with Pringles and a Coke and a bottle of Coke.
Yeah, I saw that actually.
Yeah, so that was Walmart's thing, and apparently GameStop did Red Bull. So, all right, that's fun. I actually just drank that Red Bull today, by the way. I had saved that for when I needed it.
Yeah. Saved it for podcast recording.
Saved
day,
it for
obviously.
because man, oof. It's true. I was really tired earlier today. So yeah, I got it on that Saturday, and now I have it.
Cool.
Pretty sick story, huh?
Yeah.
Not nearly as exciting as yours.
So, have you played much Mario Kart World yet?
So Mario Kart World, I've only played for like an hour, honestly. Maybe 2 at this point. I've beaten 2, the first 2 cups, and I've played some free roam, which I really enjoyed the free roam personally. Yeah. The best part about it though was Theo was watching it, and he was just in awe, just staring enamored. And just going, and like pointing at things, and like he's gonna love that game when he can play video games a little more. But I thought it was super fun. I really liked the stuff they added, and flipping around is fun and stuff. So yeah.
So I actually haven't played free roam at all yet. I think I wanted
to
just
do it together, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think I was just like wanting to get through kind of the less interesting parts first.
Just single player.
Yeah, so I got
Prix,
the gold cup on 50cc on all of Grand Prix and all of the tournament.
Well, Knockout Tour too.
Knockout Tour, yeah.
But just the 50cc stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then I started to get a couple of the 100cc ones.
Yeah, apparently, from what I've heard, this is one of the more difficult Mario Karts.
I would say 100cc on this game is definitely harder than in past Mario Kart games.
I think that's why they didn't ship it out with 200. Is because the 150 is harder than previous Mario Karts. So, but anyway.
Yeah, like 50, I had no trouble staying in the lead every race, and in 100, I did struggle a bit to stay in the lead.
Who did you play as? What character?
Yoshi.
I've
been a Yoshi main since 64. So.
Right. Yeah, I played as the first time I played as the snowman.
Yeah.
Because
did you see that everybody is playing as the cow?
Yes. Oh yeah. Apparently, when you play online, it's like 90% the cow.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty funny. That's the meme character, I guess, of this. I did the snowman because of the 8th chapter in Paper Mario. The like line of snowmen,
Yeah.
You give them the bucket and stuff. It's that snowman with the bucket and the yellow scarf. So that was fun.
Mario Kart 8, I was always Yoshi with pipe frame, and so that's what I'm always using.
I was always light blue Shy Guy in Mario Kart 8. Do you have to unlock the colors for Yoshi and Shy Guy, or?
Yeah, so sort of. It's not even just colors because he also has outfits too.
Yeah.
I was recently playing as Racer Yoshi, where he's got like goggles and stuff.
Yeah, some of the outfits look really fun. I got an outfit for Donkey Kong, so I played as him for a little bit.
Yeah,
he was fun to play as because I really like Donkey Kong's new design.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In 64, Yoshi was always my first choice, and then after that was Bowser, and then Mario.
That's right. I liked playing as Toad or Luigi, so
Yeah.
in that one. Yeah. Now I would never play as Toad. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
So it was
Luigi,
all,
I like playing.
it was
Actually, I
all
like playing
about-
as Mario, too, because I'm
Yeah.
just boring, I guess.
So they said, like, I think it was Toad, Yoshi, and Peach were lightweight characters. Mario and Luigi were middleweight. Bowser, Wario, and Donkey Kong were heavyweight. Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And Toad was the lightest, and so he was, like, supposedly the hardest to control. And that felt like that, too. I don't know that that's actually true. I think maybe Yoshi and Toad weighed the same, but I don't know.
Very possible.
Because when you're a kid, you often think there's a lot more depth to game mechanics than there actually is.
Definitely. Kids with video games are so, like, superstitious almost.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. I was just thinking that with Theo. I was thinking about that, watching him playing with my old Hot Wheels, which is really cute to watch, by the way. And looking at certain cars and remembering as a kid, I thought certain ones were way faster in my head, and just like all these things that are not true at all in reality. But that's just the whimsy and imagination of childhood, I guess.
Yeah, you learn that a lot of assumptions you make as a
Yes.
kid are wrong as you
Yeah.
get older. It is interesting that some of the things that I like gained through just kind of intuition, a combination of intuition, hearing from other kids, and then what bits and pieces I had read when it came to like Pokemon. So I understood that raising a Pokemon and having it gain levels through battling was better than leveling up with rare candies, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, you didn't
and the
understand
reason is, of
EV
course,
mechanic, yeah.
EVs and stat experience.
Right. Or
but I
just
didn't
EVs
know-
and later gens, but yeah.
Right. Obviously, anything Gen 3 and later is EVs. Gen 1
Yeah.
and 2 is stat experience. But yeah. And then, like, I didn't know. I knew that weakening a Pokemon made it easier to catch, but I didn't realize that anything below like 30% doesn't actually make it any easier to catch. So like giving it only one tiny sliver of health is not actually any
Felt
better
better,
than
but-
30%.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was like, okay, the more I can the closer I can get it to 1 HP, the better.
It was felt like if it was in the red, you have a very high chance, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yellow was just fine.
Yeah, or even like I think red actually starts a lot earlier than you think it does, and in the red at all is fine. Whereas, yeah. But anyway,
Back to Switch 2.
yeah. Well, I don't have much else to say except
I have plenty, so.
So the only other thing for me is the experience of getting everything transferred was very easy. I just set them next to each other, had them both connected to my Wi-Fi, and then
It just did it, yeah.
it just transferred it,
System
and it was
transfer.
quick too. I
Yes.
didn't expect it to be that fast.
Pretty fast.
And then I like the feel of it. It feels pretty substantial.
So sturdy, yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy.
And
comparatively.
I like the Ethernet connection on the dock. Pokemon Scarlet, visually it's almost a different game
yeah.
because like I can tell it's running at 60 hertz as opposed to 30
Right. It's like solid 60 FPS.
because 60 has a particular look to it
Yeah.
that used to feel really weird and kind of jarring. Like it's kind of like when I first started seeing TV shows or movies at 60 hertz. And
that kind of
it's kind of like
smoothing
watching
effect.
a play.
Yeah, the
as
smoothing
opposed to
effect they add to certain TVs. Yeah.
Well, even with that all turned off, if you just like
Just 60 FPS feels different. Yeah.
And I think it's different when you like film it at 30 and then play it back at 60 versus
then it
you
looks
film it
weird.
at 60. Yeah.
But I love the insane smoothness
Yeah.
of Violet. Just having, I don't know, having things work like perfectly. It really does feel like a different game, kind of.
Yeah.
I noticed that it was more atmospheric than it was before. because there wasn't any jank to the environment.
Yeah.
So I could notice like the way the grass moved and the wind was going, and like when rain started, it felt atmospheric instead of just annoying. It was really fascinating to play and way more pleasant just in general to run around. And the battles especially are so fast comparatively. The speed of the battles and just it's quite beautiful in my opinion actually. So
I had to laugh when I saw so many people saying nobody's going to buy this. And it's become one of the
So
best-selling
stupid.
consoles ever,
so
which
stupid.
we knew
Which
it
we
would
knew,
sell well.
Yeah. But just like it's very weird.
Yeah.
People are very weird on the internet.
Yeah.
And people hate Nintendo. It's very strange the things people have against Nintendo.
It's like,
Sorry, they make such good games and consoles. That sucks for you, I guess. But I love the feel of the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Because you've been playing with your Pro controller, your
Right.
old Switch 1 Pro controller.
yeah, I've not actually played with the Joy-Cons at all.
Yeah, I recommend trying it.
Yeah.
They're
I've
insanely
navigated the
nice.
menu and stuff, but yeah.
I've been playing it for a little while, just with the Joy-Cons attached to the little, controller that holds them or whatever. And the sticks, especially, are noticeably better. They're like buttery smooth, like ridiculously smooth. I went back and played on my Switch Lite just last night, and I couldn't believe how bad the sticks felt in comparison. So
Yeah, no, the feel of the physical
it's just lovely.
device is substantially better.
Yeah. So the first thing I played was Violet, just to like see. I just had to see that, and yeah, that was shockingly awesome. And I would have just played that for like many more hours probably. But what I really wanted to do was play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play them all the way through, nearly 100%, because as part of the Switch 2 edition, it added like a partner app,
Right.
which I don't love apps on your phone in general, but it has a lot of very cool features, most notably the navigation app. It just is it's an interactive map that's connected to your game. It literally shows where you are all the time, but also it shows collectibles, most notably Koroks, where they are and if you've obtained them or not. They're just grayed out basically if you've already gotten them. And so that makes getting every Korok actually a thing I feel like I could do. Whereas before that was just way too annoying to even attempt. And I'm quite of the way through now. I've been doing things other than the Divine Beasts, but I have like 300 Koroks, and I'm like, almost to getting the Master Sword for that. There was a glitch where you could get the Master Sword
Right.
the second you could get it.
I remember you described it on the
It was
podcast.
awesome.
Yeah.
They fixed that. You can't do that anymore.
Figures.
Because it used to be you'd have to save and reload while looking up.
Right.
But when you reload, you're like just standing in front of it. You're not looking up anymore.
Yeah.
It's very smart of them to just
reset
basically
your position.
lock your camera in that way when you reload. That makes sense. That's fine. I don't have to cheat. I'll get it legitimately. But dude, walking into the Lost Woods, the Korok Forest for the first time, and it's like locked 60 FPS and the lighting looks good, and just like that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If this game was already atmospheric and moody and gorgeous to look at, but now it's just that times 4 probably.
Yeah.
It is a very, very pleasant game to play on there.
The display I'm playing on, I believe, is locked 60 anyway. Like it doesn't go above 60, and it's only 720p. So it's like the Switch 2 is at least giving me the max that my display can handle, which is great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask for more.
I'm playing it on a very large 4K TV, and it's like HDR and like 60 FPS. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Oh, and the the app also added all these voice memos from Zelda. Like literally the voice actress went and recorded these again, which is really cool. Patricia Somerset. It's just like her traveling throughout Hyrule, like before the calamity came. And it's great, just a little lore tidbits and like how why certain stables were built where they were, like some really cool stuff. So yes, I'm very enjoying that. That's what I've been playing. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to play Tears of the Kingdom again.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things where I was like, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, oh, right, that's only in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like forgetting how different the two are and how much simpler Breath of the Wild is in comparison. But that's part of its charm also, I think. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. I like the Switch too. It's really cool. Boom.
So now that I own a Switch 2, I no longer had any need for my Switch 1. So I
mine too.
traded it in.
But I already talked about that, I think.
And what was nice is I had the original HDMI cable and stuff. I had everything except one of the straps for one of the Joy-Cons. I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone.
Yeah.
But I had everything else that came with the game, except I guess the original case. That's like the only thing I didn't have. So that was cool. So I was able to get like as much for it as I possibly could.
Credit it retro, yeah.
I also sold my Xbox Series S because it was just like the most disappointing Xbox console I've ever played.
Take that, Xbox.
And also, it's very interesting. The most recent announcements about the latest Xbox, and how like everything is an Xbox and nothing is an Xbox, and how it's looking like Xbox is going to stop being like a single piece of hardware, and it's instead going to be like a version of Windows, essentially, like a custom built version of Windows that'll run on a variety of devices.
Very weird.
Kind of like SteamOS, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I'm guessing they're basically, it sounds like they're going to try to compete with Switch and Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it by pushing Xbox OS.
That is like people's two favorite things mostly. Is what it feels like. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that mobile gaming has exploded the way it has because I feel like nobody cared for a long time.
Yeah. Although the Nintendo DS was like the best-selling console ever. So,
well,
there's that.
Sure, but like even like PC gamers have jumped on the mobile gaming thing, and it's not something I've seen in the past.
That's true. No, it's definitely gone farther.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah,
Which I like mobile consoles.
Series S was the most disappointing console the most disappointing console I have owned. So I sold it, and by the way, Facebook Marketplace, I've had very good luck selling stuff on there. That's been
I just sold a game on there.
Surprisingly good experience.
Yeah. Yep, it just depends on, I don't know, the people you get.
Yeah.
messaging
like,
you.
Sure, you post something and then you get a flood of people going, is this still available? And then you say yes, and then they don't respond.
And they never respond, yes.
And then you get like a bunch of those. But eventually, then you get somebody who actually wants it.
It's great because as a buyer, that also happens, where you say, hey, I'm really interested in this. Can I buy this from you right now? You don't even say, like, is this available?
Yeah.
And they just never message you.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, cool. That's fine.
Yeah. So in the last episode, I had not actually finished setting up my Wii.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to, real quick, I did get a regular SD card. And so I was following the site you sent me, and there were a couple of points where it just kind of left me
It just
hanging.
stops. Yeah.
And
it's because there's like also directions from ModMe. That's like in a separate thing. But
and I never really found that. Yeah. So instead, I got everything else like individually. So I got USB Loader GX after I asked you, hey, what app was it?
Use? Yeah.
So I got that, and then I had to separately get Nintendo. Because it doesn't, if you get USB Loader off of GitHub, it doesn't come with Nintendo.
Which you
so I had to get that
too for it to work. Yeah, that's funny.
And I had to follow the steps to get that set up, which was a little complicated, but not that bad. I eventually figured it out. And then once I got all that done, getting everything transferred wasn't that big a deal. Although, again, there was another step that wasn't included anywhere, and it was that I needed
mandatory.
GameCube backup loader to convert the files and stuff.
Like load
to the
them properly into the SD card.
Yeah. But once I did all that, everything worked. All the games launch, and they play natively.
It's awesome.
And so that's nice.
Yeah, dude.
I was able to, and this was probably one of my favorite things, is I was able to back up my physical GameCube memory cards because I have one that is like 20 years old almost. And I've had it since probably 2004 or so. And it's got all my Chow Garden data. It's all got my PSO data. That's got like 800 hours of PSO playtime. And I have that all backed up on my computer.
Very cool.
So I can...
Do you have like a port on your computer for GameCube memory cards?
No. So what I had to do was I loaded the app onto my Wii.
Right. You can just do it on the Wii.
I backed it up onto my SD card, and then I moved it to my computer.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. I should probably do that too. Although I don't really have much that I care about on my physical ones, so whatever.
Yeah,
I lost my childhood one long ago.
Yeah.
So.
Because like
In a mall in
I'm so
Roseburg.
thankful that memory card still works, but like who knows how long before it dies.
Seriously, they're known for corrupting and dying. So, yeah, I think the black ones are the best, are like the least likely to corrupt and stuff. But still, yeah. And I have one of the white, really big ones.
Right. Yeah.
Which I always wanted as a kid.
Yeah. Well,
so I bought it as an adult.
I have virtual versions of those on my computer now.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Pretty cool.
But yeah, so
I would love to play more of my modded Wii, but now I have the Switch 2 to play, so I have too much to play.
Yeah.
Too much fun to play.
Yeah. So the last game that I was playing before we left off, I was in the middle of Super Mario 64.
Yes, and I was chasing you, trying to keep up with you also.
And
so we both
finally got all 120 stars and beat the final Bowser
for the first time. That's awesome.
Wow, that was difficult.
Super easy and cool. I did it for that was probably only like the third time I've done it actually.
Yeah,
all the way through. So
that was definitely the first time I've done that.
Yeah.
I think as a kid I got up to like 72 stars.
I definitely recall that. Yeah, from our childhood.
So Tall Mountain sucked for me.
Tall Mountain. Oh yeah.
There's a
So like the only issues I ever have there are the red coins on the little mushrooms.
Yeah.
That's about it.
There's pretty much it came down to one jump that I kept failing, and it's far enough into the level that if you fail, it's a real pain to have to do.
Like the long jump with the waterfall behind you?
Yeah, I think so. Because I just had to get the right angle on it, or I wasn't going to be able to get it. Because half the stars required you to be up in that part of the level.
Sure, yeah.
Plus, I was trying to be careful not to get my hat stolen by the monkey, because that happened to Alla, and that was a huge pain.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it sucks losing your hat. Double damage. Yeah.
But I did get all the stars on there. I had a much easier time with Tiny Huge Island, I think, than you did.
It's a specific hatred for me. That level hates me more than I hate it, I think. But I despise that level. It's by far my least favorite. And there's something about the red coins under Wiggler that I always fail at least like 3 times. And then like it's just little things get me and I fall off, and it's just the worst.
I only died twice
why.
doing that, but the funny and enraging thing is I walked into that cave and walked off the edge.
Yeah. Oh, when you first walk in, it's super skinny. Yeah. You can fall right off. It's so true.
So that was infuriating.
Yeah.
That was one of those put the controller down moments.
Yeah, every time I walk in very slowly. And just Yeah.
So 100 coins was the hardest for me on that level for sure.
Yeah.
But once I got it,
that was one of the only ones where like I got like 70, 80 coins and then died. Like which is horrible.
Also,
like,
on the snow level,
worst.
I had a ton of. I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, but I got a ton of. I had a lot of trouble getting into that tunnel.
Oh, the igloo and the tiny igloo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just jump from behind it.
Yeah,
it's way easier.
Anyway,
That's fine.
So I got all the stars on all those.
I did almost lose that level on the 100 coins.
Yeah.
I remember I got the 100 coin star with 1 HP left.
Yeah.
And no other coins in the level to heal myself. Mm-hmm. And it was, I was so dumb for doing it. I got the 100th coin on that slope downwards in front of the igloo. There's a line of coins there. And that water in there hurts you pretty quickly. And I had like 1 HP, and I have to go down the slope to get this star. And I failed once, but I got out just quick enough to not die.
Yeah.
It was very stressful.
So as a kid on the first level, I got the 100 coin star in the air.
Yeah. Oh,
And I learned a valuable lesson that day of always be
Get it
very
on the
careful
floor.
of where you get your 100th coin.
for sure. Yeah.
That stuck with me.
Yeah, in on Battlefield, I always get most of the coins in the air and then like first.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen.
I did eventually obviously get Lethal Lava Land and Shifting Sand Land finished.
Yeah. Lethal Lava is like one of my favorite levels actually. So
that's funny.
It's like no issue to me.
The 100 coins was just really tough for me.
Yeah.
And then Shifting Sand Land
terrible. I also hate that level.
Had a lot of trouble with it, but I did eventually finally get it.
It's doable. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 100 coin was one of the last ones I did.
Yeah. Wasn't that besides Bowser, the Bowser red coins, wasn't it the last star you got?
I think it was actually the second to last star I got.
So funny. I made myself do every level in order, like by the course number.
Right.
And I had to complete a floor before I moved on.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. I'd never played that way before, so.
I mostly did that, but I did have to stop for a couple, just because a couple were so hard for me. So then I also had, and then I'll get to TikTok clock in a moment, because, oh my goodness.
I like,
anyway.
no issue with TikTok clock at all.
Rainbow Ride was tough, but not horrible. And
I
actually
had a huge annoyance in Rainbow Ride.
I was pretty sure that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get the 100 coin star. I thought maybe I wouldn't be able to get it because of the blue coins, because I'm bad at wall jumps.
Oh yeah.
And so, and you have to wall jump to get up there fast enough, and I didn't get all of them, but I still got the 100 coins.
Oh, nice. I guess there's a lot of coins on that level.
Yeah, I just had to find other coins. Like I had been following a video, but he got all those and I didn't, so I had to be like, okay, are there any other coins? And turned out there were just a few more, so I was able to get those and get it.
Nice.
And then for Castle Secret Stars, I mentioned in the last episode, I was one short and I didn't know where it was. And it turned out it was the first wing cap level.
You hadn't done that, yeah.
So
pretty annoying.
Which took me like 12 tries or something, but I finally got it.
Which was, I mentioned it already, but the fact I did that in one try, I was so proud of myself.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I had tried the first time that I went, oh, if you don't get it on your way down, the cannon won't give you enough lift, or not the cannon, jumping off of the middle section.
There is no cannon on that one. So
jumping off of the middle section won't give you enough lift to get any of the coins.
If you don't get the first like 4 on the way down, you're screwed. Yeah, you literally have to start.
There was 1 or 2 on the bottom that I didn't get, and I was able to just go and get because you can get just enough height. But
yeah, on Rainbow Ride, the first star I went for was just the one at the very top where you have to just ride the thing the whole time. And it had never happened to me before, but the fireplace got me.
Oh, yeah.
Right on the final rise.
Oh, man.
And I could not get back on the carpet. And I could not believe it.
Yeah.
I was very unhappy with that.
Yeah.
Because that is, you just have to wait, you know, like, that was so annoying.
I got, and then the red coins for the, like, invisible or see-through cap.
Yeah, the blue cap.
Whatever it's called. Yeah, the blue cap. That was a little tough. It took me a few tries.
It's a really easy one to die on.
Yeah.
I feel like you just slip off near the end or something.
Yeah. And then tick tock clock.
Let me just say, I think I died once on finishing TikTok clock in its entirety.
I wanted to pound my head into the wall until I broke it.
Yeah.
And in particular, the 8 red coins.
Yeah.
Now, I later learned an easier way to do it.
By far the easiest thing in the level, but yes, okay.
It took me like...
Did you not do it with the time stopped?
Oh, I did it with the time stop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that didn't help that much, frankly. I'm going to say it took, like, I don't know, 200 jumps.
Crazy.
I was...
Now, at first, this surprised me when you said... And then you described to me how you side jump in Mario 64. And I said, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I
could side jump effortlessly, basically.
I have never intentionally done a side jump.
Right.
What I do is, if I need to do a side jump, I just rotate the stick really quickly and just press and mash A, and eventually he does it. Because I cannot get the trick down to do it on command.
It's like something in Japan would say.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Oh, that's so awesome.
And also triple jumps were really difficult for me to pull off.
Yeah, I feel like you rarely actually need those. The triple
it happened just often enough, though. Although, I will say...
The backflip's really useful, actually.
I will say, though, there was like 2 times where I needed to do a backflip because even though it wasn't, there were other ways to do it, that was like the most efficient way, and I managed to pull it off, which felt good to me because that's not something I normally am able to do.
Yeah. So, knowing that is understandable that you had so much trouble with certain stars.
But the thing is, so like, okay, so here's the red coin thing, and there's the different platforms, and they're just high enough.
Exactly.
They're just far enough apart that like single jumps just don't work.
Right. You need a side hop or maybe a double jump.
Yeah. And so what would happen is I would get onto the bottom one, I'd jump and miss the second one. And fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And then go back up and try it again. It would take 7 tries, maybe.
Right,
I'd get up to the second one.
Which then there's like 10.
Yeah. Then I'd try to jump to the third one and fall. Then and then getting back to the second one took another 5 or 6 tries. And then
it's not like a thing where you die even.
Right.
You're just at the bottom.
I wasn't dying at all. I was just
It's like that getting over it game or whatever.
So this was a good 20 solid minutes or more of just trying to make a few of these jumps.
Yeah.
And if you had seen the careful precision I made of okay, stand on this very part of the corner and face this direction to try and make the jump, give the jump a higher chance of success.
And I did it on my Switch Lite in the car. First try in 2 seconds. I
wonder if it might have been easier on there. I don't know.
It's just because Mario's movements in that game are ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. So I know the exact amount of time I need to go this way and then the exact way to move the stick to get him to flip. It's just practice, I think. And just muscle memory at this point. So
now, when I went to go do 100 coins later, I found that dropping down from the top was infinitely easier.
Definitely easier, 100%. I think I did. I mean, I did probably fall off at least once. It wasn't flawless or something. Yeah. But
I would have loved to have been live streaming it.
Yeah,
because just the pain that people would have felt watching me go through this.
People would have been just so mad.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you jumping like that? Just do a side jump.
It's like watching someone play Jump King, only they're really bad at it.
Yeah, dude.
Really bad at it.
There's something great about the rage people get of when people play games badly. That's why Aaron from Game Grumps still plays the way he does because it's hilarious. Why get better at games when you can just be bad and it's funny and people get mad, but they still watch it?
Yep.
It's great. Yeah. So I love that. Yeah. I really wish I really wish that was recorded.
Yeah.
Hey, but just don't get any better, and maybe we could do it again someday if people are interested in that.
That said, I now give myself permission, if I ever do it again, to do it through an emulator with save states, so that I can save state on difficult jumps, because that's what I did with Super Mario World, and so once I got TikTok Clock and Rainbow Ride all done, I had to get Mips the rabbit, which I had done him I had gotten him the first time, so this was the second time.
Is he harder the second time? I don't actually know.
I don't know if he is or not. I watched.
Hard to say.
I just watched a video of somebody do it.
Basically the same, but
so what I had been doing, which is not the best way to do it, is like trying to get close-ish and then dive at him, and I just kept trying to do that over and over, and I'm not accurate enough to do that.
Sure.
So
he jumps pretty quick. So
the easier method
just run after
is
him.
to just run after him, and then just try to grab him,
yeah.
And that it took a few minutes, but nothing that bad.
Exactly. Yeah, I never get him first try or anything, but like it's not usually bad enough to worry about it too much. Yeah. Yeah, I like the thought of trying to get the jump on him though.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And then there was Bowser in the Sky, 8 red coins, and then
did you have trouble with the red coins, or did you know where they were? So
well, no, I knew where they were, so I think it only took like 3 attempts to get the red coins, and then I took a picture once I got that star, because that was 120. And then I fought Bowser. I had maybe 4 lives, and I lost all 4 lives. Went back to the beginning, outside the castle, and I'm like, okay, well, let's go visit Yoshi.
Go get.
And then I got 99 lives, which I didn't actually know I was going to get. So that was cool.
Very helpful.
I was like, oh, great. Now I have 99 attempts to beat Bowser without a game over.
You'll be fine, probably. Yep.
And it took about 11 attempts after that.
Nice.
Also, there's a 1-up right outside his castle, so technically that's all you need.
Oh, that's right. Where is that? It's like behind a pillar or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right before the warp pipe to him. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is kind of infinite then.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like I have no accuracy with throwing him, so like I just had to just keep throwing him.
Try
over and over again. It was helpful to be able to get him near one and then just
that's
do
the
it.
Best method for sure is to just try to.
But of course, once it's a star, they're all far away at that point, and you just kind of gotta just keep throwing him.
That is the one I missed. Was one of the third one.
Yeah.
But otherwise, wasn't an issue for me.
Most of the time, deaths came from him when I call this fire rain.
Dude, it's a lot of fire.
He spits the fire in the air, and it's the blue flames that like dance around. And they're so delayed too. Like the red flames will all land and then disappear, and the blue flames are still going.
Yeah, they're there for a long time. Yeah, that's definitely. I was definitely low on HP when I beat him, for sure, because there's a lot of fire on the ground.
I kept looking out for the coins that sometimes spawn from that, helpful. And then trying to heal up.
Helpful.
But yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, 10 or 11 tries, and I beat him. And now that chapter is closed in my life.
Yeah, it was fun. I was definitely like, there's frustrating enough parts where I'm like, even though I love that game, I do not want to do that again anytime soon. But it was nice to get all 120 again. It had been quite a while since I'd done that. So, and April had fun watching me sometimes because she grew up playing. That's one of the few games she's very familiar with, actually. So that was fun to reminisce about. So yeah, well done, Ryan. You're the platforming master now.
Yeah. Well, so having completed that, it's like, maybe I'm not bad at platformers. Right. Maybe I'm just not great.
You're definitely not terrible at them. Yeah. If you can physically get all 120 stars without save states, like legitimately on.
Yeah, because it was on N64, so there wasn't really anything I could do to cheese it without. Yeah. Because I don't know any of the like glitches or anything to cheese anything. Me either. So.
Yeah, that's one game I haven't messed around with glitches and stuff on. So.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to try to do the jump up the stairs though. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You can like circumvent the endless stairs if you like do a certain backwards jump where you like fly up the stairs.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Anyway, might try that someday.
So,
Yeah.
when I traded in my Switch, I got 2 games. One is GoldenEye 007, which
Heck
kind of felt like the one N64 game I was really missing.
Yeah, completing basically your N64 collection.
So
yeah,
there are other.
it's such a classic.
Yeah, there are other beloved games by that came out for the N64 that I just kind of don't care about. Perfect Dark,
Banjo
I think.
Kazooie.
What's that?
Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, Banjo Kazooie.
One
Star
of the best
Fox,
games ever made. Yeah.
64. F-Zero.
Yeah.
Jet Force Gemini.
Yep.
I did
That's one.
rent
Donkey
that
Kong.
one.
Donkey Kong 64.
Oh yeah, Donkey Kong 64. I did rent Jet Force Gemini once.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
not the best.
I think it was technically the
okay.
first shooter I ever played.
Oh yeah, it's a rare
it or
game
not.
too. It's
Yeah.
a rare title.
You can tell from the aesthetic, actually.
Yeah, I thought about trying that 'cause it's on the Switch, Switch Online thing.
Yeah. I might try to beat that emulated. I have it. I have a ROM of it. But I don't think I'm ever going to bother buying a physical
There's
copy.
other ones like Glover. People like.
Oh yeah.
Gex.
Yeah, Gex. Don't drink tap water.
Jerry
Garcia's.
Yeah, exactly. This reminds me of Jackie Chan's bathroom. Okay, go ahead.
but GoldenEye felt like the one game that I was
this is like
genuinely
Chris Fish and Jack
missing from the
Nicholson's
collection.
So I turned it into Donkey. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I never really played it growing up, but I know
me either.
it's one of those classics, and it does look kind of fun at certain points.
It's one of those games where I'm going to have to be like, okay, put yourself in the mindset of 11-year-old you.
Yeah. I'm a child and this is cool.
Yeah. And like try to just
enjoy it.
Enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. Have some whimsy and enjoy it. Because it's going to be janky.
Oh, yeah. Because it's going to be janky. It's going to look bad. It's going to all those things. But yeah. I guess 2 other obvious games that I don't have that I'm not going to get, but would be Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Right. Of course. Very good games, by the way.
I'm going to play Ocarina of Time on
those.
3DS.
Please do. It's so good on 3DS.
Yeah.
Ugh, I love the 3D version. Yeah. And if you ever really want to play Majora's Mask, there's a 3DS version of that too. Yeah. So, which
the other game
100 times better
that I got was Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster.
Yes, you got the full Pixel Remaster, which I have been eyeing also. So.
Yeah. Which I'm probably not going to go over in this episode. I'm probably going to go over in the next episode.
Not in depth.
Pixel Remaster.
We're
because
good a ways in, but
because what I want to talk about is what really sparked that, and that was playing the original Final Fantasy on an NES emulator. I played the a ROM hack called Final Fantasy Restored.
Restored.
Which I highly recommend if you want to play the NES release of Final Fantasy and you aren't interested in playing any of the remakes, or you want to play it instead of the remakes, or you've already played the remakes, you want to play the original. Play FF Restored for 2 reasons. One is they retranslated the game using more accurate translations and without hiding any copyright stuff, because
a lot of D&D names in that game.
This game is very heavily influenced by D&D, and so as a result, they had to change a bunch of stuff when they localized it to not upset Wizards of the Coast.
Like there's literally beholders in it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's straight up D&D.
They not only renamed Beholder, they even changed its sprite to look less like a Beholder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But FF Restored restores the sprite to the original Beholder sprite and calls it a Beholder. So, although the one downside to that is none of the names match any of the guides you'll find online.
So if you're looking up guides, you'll be confused.
Because the guides will use the official translation.
Right.
So none of the characters are named, like none of the enemies are named the same. None of the places are named the same. None of the weapons or armor are named the same.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Wiki did help a bit because some stuff they mentioned both names because of a lot of names are the same as what they are in later games.
Okay.
But so you can very much tell this is an old RPG.
Yes.
It doesn't...
Not even SNES. This is NES.
I wouldn't have necessarily thought Pokemon Red or Blue had quality of life improvements.
Right.
But it turns out.
Oh, boy.
So imagine this. Imagine Pokemon centers.
Picture this, friends.
Cost Poké Dollars to use. And are the only way to save your game.
Yeah. Insane. Yeah, it turns out saving your game wherever you are is pretty revolutionary.
Yeah. Also, imagine Pokemon centers don't heal all status effects or revive fallen, fainted Pokemon.
Yikes.
They only restore health, HP and PP.
Period, yeah.
Imagine that.
Just imagine. How fun would that be?
And so, like, it's it's an extremely easy game to soft lock because you can run out of gil and then you cannot revive party members. You cannot heal at a at an inn.
Yeah.
You're
literally screwed.
Buy antidotes if you're poisoned.
Yeah, old games weren't afraid to just make you screwed. You have to restart the game, basically. Yeah. Very different mindsets for old games.
And even though I was playing it on an emulator, I never used save states. I never even really thought to.
Oh, that's funny.
So I beat it legitimately.
Right.
I mean, I'm playing a ROM hack, but the ROM hack didn't change the difficulty
plenty hard,
at all.
yeah. Don't worry.
It didn't do anything to change the difficulty.
Right.
It just
No
made
quality of life
the
improvements,
translations more accurate
Did
and the
they
sprites more
fix
accurate.
some glitches too?
Yes, they did fix all of the like really well-known glitches, which made some spells actually viable that aren't in the original release.
So it did
some
help
spells
a little
that just
bit,
straight up don't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you start the game initially, you immediately have to pick your party. You have 4 party members, and you pick their classes, or jobs, as they're called in Final Fantasy. So you've got Fighter, Monk, White Mage, Black Mage, Red Mage, Thief. I think that's it. This is one of those early JRPGs where physical is actually better than magic, like a lot better.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which is true of a lot of early JRPGs, like early Shin Megami Tensei games were like this, and a few others.
Interesting.
So physical damage scales better in the end game, and it's stronger up front too. So there's parts of the mid game where magic can be really helpful, but otherwise, so it's actually really easy to kind of trivialize the game by just going physical heavy. And one of the recommended teams is actually just 4 fighters.
Just all fighters.
Because of how good physical damage is.
That's funny.
I went with 2 fighters, a monk, and a red mage. Because red mage can use both black and white mage. Black magic and white magic.
Okay.
You have spell slots like you do in D&D,
Right,
and they're different levels too. Yeah. So like you have...
Yeah, I know. Final Fantasy 2 and 3 have that, don't they?
3 does, not 2. 2 is
interesting.
I'll get into that in the next episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had a lot of trouble in the beginning because I didn't know that having equipment on your character didn't mean you had it equipped.
Okay.
So, like, when you're carrying weapons and armor, they aren't in your inventory. They are on your character.
Okay.
So, like, each character has their own, like, weapon and armor inventory. And they have a certain number of slots, and that's it. They can only hold so much armor or weapons at a time. And they don't have to be equipped to be holding it. So, for the first, like, 2 hours of gameplay, I had no weapons or armor equipped. Nice. I beat the first boss with no equipment.
Pretty impressive.
Which just goes to show how easy he is.
Yeah.
Garland.
Right, cool. Yeah, the first Garland fight. Yeah. That's funny.
Once I started equipping things, fights got much easier.
Oh, I got so strong. That's crazy.
I was in a fight with like 5 wolves, and they just slaughtered me because I had no equipment on.
Yeah. Wolves pretty tough, turns out. Should probably have a sword.
Yeah, so the game was overall not that difficult.
Okay.
There was only like a couple of bosses that were hard at all that involved me doing anything other than just brute forcing.
I know there was a certain, poisony area that you had an issue with that you mentioned to me.
Well, so because the only way to heal poison is either antidotes or poisona.
Right, like
or whatever,
a spell, yeah.
whatever it's called in FF1. I forget what it's actually called in that game. It's something different, but it's like it's a higher level spell.
Yeah,
it's not like a level 1 spell or something. So lots of things can poison you, and only antidotes can cure it in most of the game. So I wound up just carrying like 50 antidotes with me, and I used most of them.
That's crazy.
But it's one of those things where it'll get you down to 1 HP, but won't kill you.
Okay, so that's nice.
So, and another thing is, so there are a few dungeons where where the floor is lava, literally.
Okay.
And it will hurt you, but it only does 1 damage per step. So it's not really that bad. But I had this problem where I needed to get out of a dungeon. All of my team was dead except 1 character, and I had to walk through lava. Now, thankfully, once you get down to 1 HP, it won't kill you.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of that,
and the fact over all the lava,
and I somehow made it out of the dungeon alive.
Just sprinted on lava, and it was fine. Yeah.
I had to run from every fight and hope that they didn't get
get a hit on you or something.
Yeah. But I did it. I got out of there and lived to fight another day. I did have like 4 or 5 game overs over the course of the game. And then, so this game did sort of have a super boss. It's not nearly as strong as the final boss, so it doesn't really count as a super boss, because usually super bosses are stronger than the last boss.
Yeah.
But this one was a one-off enemy that is optional and is stronger than typical, like boss level strength, but isn't really a boss.
But an optional boss, yeah.
Yeah, called the War Mech in the original translation, or Death Machine in the in Restored.
Nice. Death Machine.
So I lost to that on the
Final
first try,
egg.
but then I beat it on the second try, and it's because I just used strategy instead of just brute forcing.
Oh, interesting.
So
Like an RPG.
a big thing is using haste.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But haste has a very different effect in the first 3 games than it does in later games. Because in the first 3 games, it
I know in 10 it's really
increases
useful.
the number of times you hit the enemy.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's
sounds
something
really good.
Yeah. So when you start the game, you attack, you hit once. As you progress through the game and your characters get more like agility or whatever the stat is, you can hit multiple times. And the monk,
just like D&D,
in particular, hits like 5-6 times often, which is where a lot of his damage comes from. Yeah. You use haste and you're hitting like 12 times.
Okay, that's pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
The way to beat bosses is just buff yourself like crazy. Just you spam protect and shell and haste, and just until you're doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I only had to do that against the Death Machine and against Chaos, the last boss.
Chaos.
Yeah.
I'm here to kill Chaos.
Yep. So you go to the Temple of Chaos and you go 2,000 years into the past.
Chaos is here.
And you have to refight all of the bosses.
Chaos, yeah.
All of the other bosses from earlier in the game, and then you fight him at the end.
Yeah. Is Garland Chaos?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he becomes Chaos, right?
And it's a gauntlet, so like you can't like leave and come back. You have to you would have to refight everybody.
It's like a boss rush, basically. Yeah. Oh wow, that's interesting.
And there's also regular trash enemies in between too. Because it's a long dungeon too. They stretched it out. They made you walk really far.
The final thing,
it'd be a big square, and they'd make it so you have to like walk from one corner all the way to the and walk around to the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got to outside his door the second time, I made a save state, but I wound up not needing to use it because the second time I was able to beat him.
Nice.
But it's one of those ones where like it doesn't store the fact that you've beaten a boss. So if you like step on the panel where they spawn, and then step off and then step back on it, you fight them again.
Just fight them again.
So you can
accidentally refight
you could
them.
farm the boss if
That's true.
if there was any benefit to doing that, but there's not much of one. My characters were only level 30-ish when I beat the game, so getting to level 50, which is the cap, would have taken a long time.
Yeah, it's like Paper Mario. You never really max out your level.
Yeah.
I need to do that sometime. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever.
I've only done it once, and it was that 100% playthrough that I did.
Yeah, I should do.
Not even that long ago.
I have too many games to play right now.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, it'd be really fun to replay Persona 5.
Yeah.
So that's my life right now.
I've been looking at things like in the different versions of Final Fantasy that have carried
Wait,
on.
there's a Persona 4 remake coming out. We didn't even mention it.
I know.
Holy crap.
Hold on. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay, sorry.
So Bahamut is in this game.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And he's actually
Classic.
benevolent. You don't fight him. You don't summon him. He is
there.
the one who upgrades all of your classes.
He's just hanging out.
Yeah. So all your fighters become knights, all of your monks become masters, and all your mages become wizards.
Nice. Wizard.
Once you bring the rat's tail to him.
Yeah. He's a big rat guy.
It also has an airship, but there's no Cid yet. Not until FF2.
Nice. That's fun.
But yeah, you start with just walking, and then you get a canoe, which you can use to traverse rivers, and then you get a boat that you can use to go around the sea, and then you get an airship where you can just fly.
Fly anywhere, yeah.
Anywhere, yeah.
Nice.
I found every enemy in the game except for 2 of them that are rare spawns, and I actually tried for a good hour to find each of them, and just it was not worth the time after that. But yeah, that's my experience with with the first Final Fantasy.
OG. Yeah, I've never played it, so yeah, that's cool.
I do recommend if you ever want to, just play the Pixel remaster.
Yeah,
because
I'm sure
the quality of life improvements are so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we end this episode, Persona 4 remake. There is a teaser trailer now. We've seen early development visuals.
We've seen Inaba in all of its glory.
That's right.
Yes, the worst kept secret in gaming has been revealed. After it was leaked 4 or 5 different times through various things. Literally almost a year ago it was leaked by the singer of the Persona 4 music. So but it was still just hope, kind of we didn't know for sure, I'm of course all about it just because I love Persona 4. I'm definitely scared at a new cast for those characters.
Yeah,
because
I'm not so much. Yeah. I don't care that much, but
I care. I
understand why you do.
But I cared for Persona 3 also, not as much probably, but and I really like the new cast for Persona 3, so I'm sure I'll like them in their own way.
Yeah.
But
for me, as long as they fit the characters well and the voice actors are good at
are decent actors, which they're not going to hire bad actors probably. Yeah. So yeah, obviously I'm excited. I like what they showed so far, even though it was just 2 seconds basically.
Yeah. This could be my
excited.
favorite Persona game.
Easily.
It depends. Because 5 has taken that spot now, but Persona 4 has the story I love.
Right. Story and characters I like.
The Persona 4
the
anime
most,
is a good anime, even without the games.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the Persona 5 anime is fine.
It's not as good, for sure.
But it's not nearly as good. And if I had watched that, I might have felt...
I'd like it, but I wouldn't care nearly as much, yeah. But putting, 250 hours into Persona 5. I love it. So, yeah. So yeah, very excited for that. I'm sure they'll put it on Switch too. They didn't announce that formally, but they'll probably wait till a Nintendo Direct to announce a lot of that. So yeah. So yeah, very cool. Yay, Persona. And with that, we're gonna end this podcast.
That's right.
You've been listening to the Brothers Game podcast. And now it is over. Isn't that great? Hey, you can follow us on Twitter or X at the Brothers G Pod. And if you're on YouTube,
what's up, YouTube?
give us a like and a subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Comment. about your Switch 2, or comment about Final Fantasy 1, or be like, I can't believe you suck so much at Super Mario 64, Brian. That's crazy.
Yeah. Don't forget to download. Download.
Yes,
like
if you're on
when you see the downloads.
a podcast platform like Spotify or Apple, you can download so we get more analytics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're on like Google Podcasts too, if that's even still a thing.
I don't think that exists anymore.
We were when it
Amazon,
existed.
I believe we're on Amazon. Podcasts.
We're on Stitcher or something like that.
There's a bunch of other ones
Yeah.
I've never heard of. So,
And
but we're on there.
making sure we're on
Boom.
everything that comes up. So
Boom, baby.
yeah.
And hey, go re-listen to all of the past episodes too.
Yeah. Why not?
Shot. I don't have a reason, just cause I don't know. It's your life. Do whatever you want.
Hey, if there's one you missed, there's some good stuff in there.
There's great
Try it
stuff
out.
in there.
right.
We'd love to interact. Anyway, get out of here.
Good night, everybody.
I gotta pee.